Sup, nerds? Do you really think that roll and writes need an encore at this point?
So Encore is one more game in Stronghold's line of roll and writes. We've reviewed pretty much all of it at this point. Here's one more. So in this game, you are rolling 6 dice. The active player gets to draft 2 of them, a color and a number, and the remaining players get to pick out from whatever's left over. You're going to use those colors as numbers to mark off exactly that combination on your board, starting with the center column, and everything you mark off has to be touching that group. So if you've got a clump of like 4 blues, you can't draft 5 blue and have 1 left over, or draft like mark 3 blues here and 2 blues over here. It has to be all in one clump, which early on in the game, it's pretty simple. It's definitely one that like, it's the first 2/3 of the game that just kind of happen. And in the last third of the game where it gets kind of tricky, you get to a point where you have to pass because you can't take anything. You have to really nitpick what you take and like, pay attention to what's going on.
So it's very similar in that aspect of the spreading out thing to Dizzle. If you've played Dizzle, also by Stronghold, that will be familiar to you. And you're either going for a bunch of to get as many columns as you can. The first person to finish a certain column will get a certain number of points, and clumps of colors. If I finish all the greens first, I'll get 5 points. There are some jokers, which are wilds that you can take, but for everyone you don't take, you get a point. And I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I had a decently fun time playing this. Is the same way that I have with a lot of other roll and write games. So this is going to be a difficult thing to say. So can you hear me those over there? Yeah. So Hex Roller and Dizzle and Encore, and also I don't have it here with me right now, but Bricks we also did recently. So the Bloom by Game Right, also the orange one from Game Right. I can't remember it right now. Quicks. So, all of those. These right now. If I were to choose one of these to pick, these, including Bloom and Bricks and everything, which one would I pick?
Any of them.
Yeah, roll a die. I don't know. Because
we've got a couple.
The thing is that they are good. They are enjoyable. I did have fun with this. It is kind of tricky and puzzly. But how does this one separate from others? Now, granted, they have the clever games. Doppelt so clever and Ganshon clever. Pretty different. Lantern's Dice, I think, was pretty different. Steamrollers was pretty different. Dungeon Academy is pretty different. Era, if you can count that, is kind of different. But at the end of the day, I don't really, this one doesn't stand out. And I will say that honestly, I might even pick Dizzle over this one a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't played Dizzle yet, but I'm pretty similar. I definitely enjoyed playing it. The scores were really close when we were playing it. There's nothing wrong with the game at all. It's almost like roll and write fatigue at this point.
It really is, because it sounds like we're being negative, and I almost feel negative saying this. And I don't want to give you that impression that this was a bad game or a bad experience for me. It was just another one of these good experiences, which is fine. I guess it's a great problem to have, that there's too many games that I enjoy playing. But it's still like, because roll and writes, there's so many, someone's going to say, which ones am I going to buy first? I would say the clever games. I would say probably Fleet the Dice game.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Lantern's Dice is pretty good. Steamrollers.
Even Dungeon Academy. I
haven't gotten that one yet.
Okay.
The good things about this game, you can really push people into a corner. So the jokers, the wilds that you can take color wilds or number wilds. There are times when you really need to. There are also times when they're forced on you, because we had a lot of times where like it would be Tom's turn and he would roll and he would get like 1 color and 2 wild colors. And he'd take the 1 color, forcing the jokers on me, the wilds. And so you only get to use what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You only get to use 8 wilds total during the game. And I was just watching that cross off going down. I'm like, oh man, it's going to get to a point where he's just going to leave wilds for me, and I'm going to have to pass because I can't afford to take any more wilds. I did really like that. I like the fact that there's no 6s in the game, but there's a lot of clumps that have 6 there. So you have to be really careful how you cross off, because you could leave a bunch of 1s, which, I mean, I guess it's statistically just as probable to get a 1 versus any other number.
But at least if you leave like a 3, you could still fill out 2 of the 3.
Yeah. And you're in a corner if you have to get exactly 1.
Especially if you have to get exactly this number and color combination. I need a 1 pink right here in order to get this row.
Yeah.
In order to get this column. And also everybody knows that. They can see my board, so they're probably not going to leave a 1 purple, so it has to come on my throw.
The hate drafting is really real towards the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, in that last 1/3, you are kind of glancing over at someone else. And again, you are very limited to what you can do, so you can't just hate draft. But if I ever have an option, like I can take this or this, which one's going to hurt him more, or however many people you're playing with. So again, there are some really good moments in this game. There are some moments where you really have to use strategy. You really have to puzzle it out. I really enjoyed playing it.
But, like, again, had fun with it. Would play it again. I do think they were a little ambitious with this. You will want to play again and again. Not necessarily.
If this is my first roll and write, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. But again, there are better roll and writes, and even at this level of like, yeah, it was good. No, not amazing, not super different, but decent. I still feel like maybe I like Dizzle a little better because there are the 4 different. I keep pointing to it. It's off over here. Maybe I like Dizzle a little better because there are 4 different sheets in here. It doesn't show it on the box. I'm not opening it, and this is the same every time you play. Okay, so this has a slight edge over this for that reason. But if I were to put a numeric value to it, 6.5, which is fine, But the clever games I would put at like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So
in a world where we do have so many roll and writes, it's hard to tell you which one to buy. However, if you're able to get all of them and just cycle through them, so you never have to play the same roll and write twice in a year, again, great problem to have. If you're interested in this one, if you like the colors and the numbers, and it's definitely pretty, then yeah, go for it. It comes with pens.
Yeah, that's good. And we're going to have a purchase link to this game in the description box down below. Go ahead and get yourself a copy if you want to give us some money, or you could just send us some money. That's also a thing you could do. I would like that. Envelope. Sweaty bills in an envelope, sealed up.
Shut up. Subscribe to our channel, so you'll never be bored.